And we are live. Welcome to our Tuesday night mentoring session with Miss Lisa Grossman. And we've got Rob Moffat will be joining us here in just a couple of minutes. Lisa is coming to us all the way from Hong Kong. Lisa, how are you today?
I am awesome. It's actually going to be Chinese New Year's Eve, and Chinese New Year is the biggest holiday of the year in this part of the world, and it's going to be New Year's Eve tonight. And actually, the entire region shuts down, especially in China. Over 500 million people will be traveling. Over 2.8 billion trips will transpire because traditionally people go home and for this, and everything shuts down for about 2 weeks in China and Hong Kong for about a week. So it's gearing up. It's been a very busy week getting ready for that, but very exciting time. Haven't been over here. I was in Vietnam last year, which also celebrates Chinese New Year, but I haven't been actually in the China region for quite some time. So having a lot of fun and doing really well.
Outstanding.
And excited to be here with all of you.
Well, we're excited to have you here, and you know, it's interesting. Today has just been awesome, Lisa. This week has been awesome. Our team is on fire right now. Mynt is on fire. We have success stories popping up everywhere. People are squaring everywhere, and the team has really hit some momentum. You know, it was funny today. I woke up, and I was feeling a little bit groggy today. I've been fighting a little bit of a cold, and my first call was at 8:30 this morning, and by the time I got up that call, it kind of lit my furnace, if you will, and then I got on another call, and by mid-morning, I was pacing my backyard, and I'm still outside right now. It's like 7 o'clock at night, and we've done I don't know how many three-ways, and it's just funny how, you know, one or two calls kind of gets you into that mode where you're unstoppable, and literally that's where we've been all day. It's just a fun time to be a part of the team.
You know, it's funny that you should mention that, Travis, because I think people often don't understand the energy level that people who lead, or the leaders, or that people have when a business is really going well. And you jazz because of the excitement. Every time you tell the story, every time you get on the phone with someone new, you kind of feed off the energy of that new person. And people have often said, you know, going back to my beginnings, Jeff Roberti used to say there's no problem that 5 new distributors or 5 new customers can't fix. And people, when you first hear it, you think, oh, that has something to do with volume. You know, it's and it really isn't, because you could be talking to your existing team, and they could be going out and doing massive amounts of volume, and your check can be going up. But when you're with new people and you're interacting with new people through three-ways or events or whatever it may be, they have different eyes than those of us that have been doing it. And doing it is great, and I'm not implying anything other than to say that sometimes, because sometimes new people make you crazy. You know, you're going, and they've got all the questions that to them are very important, and they are. But you've answered the question 8,797 times, and you forget that for a new person, it's the first time. But there are other days that their new eyes, their enthusiasm, their wow, something like this exists. There's this model that can do this for my life. And you forget, because we so often take for granted what this wonderful model, profession, movement of network marketing does for us, and because we've lived it for so long, when other people get to that light bulb goes on and they're like, aha. And when you can connect to that, exhaustion can become exhilaration. I get to the point sometimes that it's only that I can't think a coherent sentence, that I say, okay, you've got to let your body get some sleep, because my enthusiasm can just keep me going and going and going. And that's what you're experiencing. And that's what your team is starting to experience. And largely it's because the momentum has kicked in, and it's infectious, and it's contagious. And you've got an amazing tool right now, and you're coming off a fantastic convention. And for those of you that are watching, you're at a phenomenal time in Mint. I'm going to tell you a secret. When you start something as a pioneer, which I've done and love to do, and Travis has done and he loves to do, and not that many people love it like we do, because that requires a unique sort of vision. That's the here's a speck of sand and you see the French Riviera kind of vision. Not everybody has it. So you are walking around excited because you can see it, and you're surrounded by people that think you're crazy. And some of the people are with you because they trust you and they love you, but they don't really see it yet, and they get tired. But then you get to this point where you're still a really well-kept secret. But now you don't have to tell a story of what's going to happen based on a speck of sand that you're telling people is the French Riviera. You now have had this major event where all these people were. You now have stories of people that have broken through to diamond. You now have people that are earning significant checks, not on the legacy of Mona V, which is a phenomenal legacy to have because it's the stability piece that removes the fear that startups can cause in people's minds. Although that's where the greatest opportunity is. You have Mynt, uniquely Mynt stories, but still all that newness, that startupness, that countries are just starting to open, and the United States is still, nobody's really aware of it yet. So this, even though we told you 6 months ago it was the perfect timing, this really is the perfect timing because so few people have that pioneer vision and know that they know that they know and can see it. And now you can point to real, tangible things that more people can see than the few that can see the speck of sand French Riviera. And when you add to that that you've got, you know, Eric's Rise movie, The Rise of the Entrepreneur, is now available, and available in formats where it's easily used online and you don't have to move DVDs around. Although I love DVDs still, and they're still very useful. I come from a Betamax age. So I was going to say I come from the DVD world, but that was like 3 iterations in. So this is like science fiction to me, the technology that's available to you now. So it's an exciting time. Can you tell I'm excited?
Yeah, and you know, we talk about momentum, and I think that people think that that's something that occurs just in a company, but it's truly not. It occurs in, you create your own momentum as well. I mean, just like today and just like what's been happening this week and even last week and the week before, it's been building. And for me, I got to the point where after a couple of calls today, it's like you get this electric feeling where you hang up the phone and you're like, who's next? And I'm literally finishing my days, and I'm kind of like almost like bummed that the day is over, and I can't wait for it to start again because that's just the momentum. And so we actually create our own momentum, but it has to start somewhere. And it's just fun. I mean, I don't know how else to describe it.
That's the piece. It's when you go to sleep excited and you wake up excited, but sometimes all the pieces hit and you're there. And what I mean by that is, you know, 2008, network marketing was certainly working, and you were doing well, and everybody was doing well. But the industry in the United States was not having its best time. Right now, network marketing is having some significant momentum as a whole. That's really good. It's good when the space is doing well because people can talk to people and just say, oh yeah, network marketing is doing really well right now. Mynt is really doing well. Your team is doing well. You are at that place where you have, you know, just prime the pump, and you can't sleep. And even though I know you're sick right now, but nobody else would know because your 80%, at least physically, which is all you can do when you're sick, is like 150% of anybody else. So your leaders are feeding off that, and they're in personal momentum. The people that are coming in are feeding into that energy of the team, and then they look around and then they go, because they're coming the other way. You know, people that are in the space look at, well, the industry's doing really well. Well, gosh, these companies are doing really well. Well, this team is doing really well. But a person that's coming in is like, well, this person I'm talking to is really excited. Well, the person they put me on the phone is really excited too. Well, gosh, this team is really moving. This company is really good. Look at this event. Look at these products. Look at this branding. You know, look at the results. Look at these stories. Well, gee, you know, people talk trash about this industry, but look what's going on in this industry. So for them, it's like a crescendo going in the other direction. And that doesn't come along that often. And I'm not saying that it doesn't work at any time you're looking at it, folks. I mean, I've been around for a lot of years. I am old.
You're not.
Old, but I am old, but not old bad, just older. And I've been around for almost 30 years in the space. So it's not the only time I've seen this, where everything sort of comes together in a perfect storm. And so it's not the only time that it will ever happen, but it doesn't happen all that often. It's at least 5 to 7 to 8 years between these this concurrence of events where you say you're in perfect storm territory. And it's the first time I've seen it where it's global. I will say that. Where it's really going, it's worldwide and still being led by the United States. I don't want to be cryptic, but there's no guarantee that 10 years from now the United States will still be leading the way at the next concurrence of events. I certainly hope so, but you never know. And technology is more capable today than anything I've ever seen before. So when I tell you it's the best of times that I've ever seen, that's not hype, that's honest. Is it the best of times I'll ever see? Maybe not. I just have this feeling the next time I may be using translators to understand what's being said.
Well, you talk about technology, and one of the things that we have been doing that really has simplified the process in our system is we really have embraced Eric's documentary, Rise of the Entrepreneur. And here's what's happening is, everybody is using the hot market system to move their product, create their story, get their initial investment back. But what we're doing now is when they're following up and asking what they like best about the product and would they be open to becoming a customer, and oh, by the way, are you open to making some extra income? When they get them to say yes, we're immediately moving them to Rise of the Entrepreneur. And here's what we found is that this DVD is doing the sorting and sifting for us. It really, the number one reason that people say no to an opportunity is because, and you say this is quoting you, people they don't know what they're saying no to. They're saying no to an opinion that an aunt or an uncle or someone gave them. And so for the first time, when we put them in front of Rise of the Entrepreneur, you have Tony Robbins and Brian Tracy and Robert Kiyosaki all telling them that this is the profession that they need to be in. And so what we're finding is that tool does the sorting and sifting, and then when we follow up, now they're ready to have a conversation, and all we have to do is introduce them to an expert at that point. And so our system is so simple. They're literally saying, hey, go watch this presentation, and hey, let me introduce you to somebody. And that system, Lisa, I'm telling you, is creating massive duplication, and I love it.
Well,
absolutely.
Of course it is. Of course it is. I think one of the challenges, and I think that people really need to hear this, network marketing is a learn while you earn business, and people get very confused about the stages of growth and what their job is when they get involved. And I think that causes confusion. I mean, Curtis says it all the time. How did you have 5 kids? Did any one of them come in when they were 6 months old and say, Dad, enroll me in grammar school so I can learn how to speak English? And did any one of them, while they were learning to speak English, say, now wait a minute, stop. Where's the noun? Where's the verb? Where's the predicate? Where's the adjective? And go around the dinner table asking those questions. Translate that to network marketing, and somehow people think that's what they're supposed to do. The job when you come in is to say the least amount you have to say to get people in front of the information. Why? Because you get to learn through immersion. The challenge we've always had is that, one, people want to play my toy's better than your toy when it really isn't about that. I mean, there are a lot of good companies today, and the best thing about being the good company that you've chosen, if you've chosen well and you have, is the team and the support mechanism and the group that you're working with. Because they are how you're going to learn, improve, and that's what you're bringing somebody to. But most new people are introduced by new people, and it's hard to get people to have an understanding of the profession. And what Rise of the Entrepreneur does is it makes people understand the profession, which opens their minds so that now when they get with the expert, when you get them in front of team, when you get them in front of information about your company, you're no longer battling the misconceptions about network marketing and the babbling, oh my God, I have to have an answer. I don't know what the answer is, so I'll try to say an answer. And all the stuff that's going around in people's heads, the misgivings about all the nest stuff, that's all been dealt with. So now they actually can look at like, wow, I know network marketing works, and this organization has really good products, and this compensation plan makes a lot of sense, and this team really knows what they're doing, and they're really going places, and they've got it together. How do I know? Because what did I do? I talked to somebody, they got me in front of this really wonderful movie that I could show to anybody, and what did they do to get me in front of it? I'm not worried about anybody seeing it. I can do what it takes to get people in front of it, and I don't need to learn anything to be able to do that. Everything they did, I already know how to do, so I can be doing it in the next 5 minutes. So, of course, the duplication is quick. And I may not know how to say all that stuff that Travis said on the phone. I don't have all that information, but if I hear him do it 8 or 10 or 12 times, how hard can that be? So I think that, of course, and the stories, everybody can tell their own story and tell it well, and you've got enough of those right now to validate, corroborate, and enunciate the successes. So the question becomes, how much success do you want? How many people are you going to get in front of it? So now it's no longer what do I have to do, it's how much of it am I going to do. And if you reframe the question, if you can eliminate the what, which causes the confusion, to how much, which is just a function with, how much effort you want to put in, then it actually goes from being simple to being easy. Because you may choose not to do 20 instead of 10, but if it's something you can do, it's not difficult to do 10 more or 20 more or 5 more. That's just a function of how much effort, how many times do I want to pick up the phone, but the work is now easy because it's something you know how to do.
Well, you brought up a really good point. People are not just evaluating your opportunity, they're evaluating your approach. And I think that people forget that. They think it's all about just the company or the compensation plan or the products, but what they're really saying is, can I see myself in this environment? Can I see myself succeeding in this environment? Can I do what they're doing? And so I would almost even say more than the opportunity than itself, they're watching you and watching what you've done to expose them to the business, and they're evaluating that entire process, and ultimately that's going to be one of the key factors in them deciding to come with you or not. And so if you keep it this simple, that evaluation process on their end changes everything.
Well, I think the other thing people have to really consider is anytime people look at people that are not afraid of the typical things, always think they're not afraid at all. So a lot of people will look at network marketing or riding a bike, or for me, skydiving, because that came up yesterday. And I have the typical fears of skydiving. I don't like heights, and I do not want to jump out of a plane. A lot of people look at network marketing, and they do not want to call the people that they know, and they're afraid of making a fool out of themselves, and blah, 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 blah. So we understand those fears. You don't have those fears about network marketing. I don't have those fears. So we always think, and I do this often, I'm not afraid. But you have to understand that when people look at something new, everybody's got fears. It's just, what are they afraid of? So we always think people are evaluating a business to see if the business is good enough for them. And on some level, they are. The bank president may be looking at it saying, I'm afraid of risking my reputation. That's what we think. So everybody wants to make sure the business looks really good and blah, 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 blah. But he too has a fear. His fear might be, I'm afraid I don't have enough time. That's still a fear. So if you get him right in front of Travis, let's say, And Travis does the most stunning presentation in the entire world, but it takes and you think, I have to get him in front of Travis because Travis can explain it well, and Travis is so professional, and Travis knows, all the facts and all the stats and all the numbers, and he can make it look so good, and he's the only one that can do this. And that's the first exposure. Travis may be fantastic, but if it takes an hour, then we have basically confirmed his fear that he doesn't have time. If he gets in, but if you talk to him for 5 minutes and you're arguably brand new and you get him in front of the movie, then he goes, okay. Somebody who's been in it for 5 minutes was able to at least be, ask me enough questions that I was willing to watch a movie. That's not very difficult. Almost anybody can do that, because they didn't have to open their mouth and stumble and probably do things that would have turned off a bank president who would have a lot of, questions that maybe they couldn't answer in front of a movie. I can do that. Okay, this movie's really, really good. This is going to impress a lot of my friends, and at least to go to the next step. And Lord knows I don't have to watch the movie with them. I can do that. And I've listened to Travis. I don't know if I've got the time to do what Travis does, and maybe he can't do all my calls, but with my credibility, I can get Travis to record a video, and I can have him watch that. I guess maybe I could find the time. So it deals with that fear. Now you've got somebody on the opposite side of the scope that's like, I just don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. I never know what to say. But somebody says to them, you think you might want to make some more money, blah, blah, blah. Why don't you, could I get you to go watch this movie? I hate network marketing. I hate network marketing. Network marketing doesn't work. I hear what you're saying, but would you be willing to invest, 45 minutes or an hour to hear what, Tony Robbins has to say on the subject, and some other people of that caliber, and watch this movie? I could do that. And then they watch it and say, well, okay, I watch it. They call back and they say, I watched your movie, but now I've got a lot of questions. Well, great. But let me just be upfront with you. I'm brand new, but the only thing I can tell you is that I lost 6 pounds, but not to worry. I can get you on the phone with somebody that can answer every question you got. So now they're not afraid anymore. And this person who hated network marketing is thinking, this guy never impressed me. He hasn't even said anything, and he's already kind of changed my mind. Maybe there's something here. So I think that if you understand that everybody is afraid of something, that's why your job is to say the least amount possible to get them in front of something that isn't you. Because if it's not you directly dealing with a person, if it's always third party, the chance for confrontation is completely removed. And if you can remove the chance for confrontation, you can have time for, as Travis would say, evaluation. I would say for cooler heads to prevail, but same difference.
What would you say? So one of the things that happens is people start off with this system, they start having success, but they start hearing the little nuggets from the experts, and pretty soon they start saying a little too much on the front end, or they stop even using an expert to a certain point, and they start trying to do it all on their own, and they start to get themselves in trouble, not because they can't bring people in. I remember when I first got started, I was a really good salesman, so I could sell people all day long and bring them in the door. But 90 days later, right. So what would you say about that? And I'm going to have you answer this while I go run and get my charger, because it's telling me I have a low battery. So do you mind talking about that for just a minute?
Not at all. Not at all. It's not what works, it's what duplicates. And I think that the importance of system, we all want you. It's okay to be an expert. You are going to learn. And Travis is correct. Eventually, you are going to know all of the answers. But your job is to be the expert with people that are not your personal prospects. Not your personal prospects. When they bring people to you and you are the third party, then yes, you want to step up and be able to do with their prospects, with their contacts, with what Rob or Travis or Jay or Tony did with yours. And here's why. Only two things are happening when a person starts off talking to you. They're either saying, I can do that, or they're saying, I can't do that. And in both cases, If they were going to buy, they're going to buy. And let me just say that sometimes the closing ratio of the great salesperson will be better. So this is gonna change. You got to be open-minded and go all the way with me here, because this is counterintuitive. Travis, with my prospects, is not emotionally involved to the outcome because he understands the prospect. So we're both good salespeople, but I'm going to follow the system, and I'm never, which is true, I'm never going to close or answer the questions or be the expert with my own people. And I want to be fair, occasionally. If it is a network marketing professional, I will answer some questions myself, but even so, I usually put Curtis on the phone. So I will have some conversational things, but more conversational, philosophical, two professional peers having a conversation. But if it gets down to head-to-head questions, I still will put Curtis on the phone. And believe me, I could answer the questions. But it's holding to the process. So I'm sitting here, and I am going to hold to the system, questions I can answer. I'm going to put Travis on the phone. And some of these people, he's not going to go for the jugular because that's not the job. The job is not to close anybody. It's to do the job. So he gets 3, 4 out of 10. Now one day, Travis gets up and he forgets all of his training, and he doesn't put his people on the phone with somebody, and he might close 2 people that if somebody had been helping him wouldn't get in the business. And somebody would say, well, that's better, isn't it? No, because those 2 people are now not doing anything but practicing. They're trying to be Travis, and Travis is like, you're not calling anybody. No, I'm studying. I can't do the comp plan like you yet. I can't present like you yet. I have to be as good with my people on the phone as you are. So when Travis was with them on the phone and they were getting sold, of course they bought. He's a great salesperson. But you know what they were saying the entire time? I can't do that. Boy, I can't do that. No. Oh, boy, that's good what he just said. I can't do that. Oh, he's got me now. I got to be able to get people like that. I can't do that. That's what you want to avoid at all costs. Because people that are saying, I can do that, if he brings, that's how you go from 5 to 25 to 125. You've all seen the diagram. It's people going, I can do that. I can get somebody in front of a movie. What did somebody do with me? They called and they asked me how I was. They asked me a couple questions. Don't even remember what they were. Got me in front of a movie. I can do that. Then they put me on then they asked me to get on a conference call. I can 3-way people. I can ask people to get on a conference call. Then they call me back and say, well, what did you like best? I can do that. Then they asked me, then they put me on a 3-way with somebody else. I can use 3-way on my phone. I learned how to do that. I can do that. I can do that. I can do that. I can do that. A lot of people saying I can do that gets a lot of people doing it and a lot of people in front of the information. And that's the job. Somebody that gets sold is saying I can't do that. I can't do that. They're still practicing. There are people that bought and signed up 6 months ago that are still, and they haven't quit because there are people out there that are stubborn, they are still learning. They're getting ready. They still don't feel they're quite good enough to talk to anybody yet. They don't understand the comp plan fully, but they're studying. MIT thinks they're capable of teaching comp plan theory, but they don't feel like they're as good as Travis explaining that comp plan yet. So, and they're afraid somebody might ask that question and they're not ready to answer it. If you make yourself the issue, your business will never be any bigger than you. And the best that you will achieve is people that are trying to be copies of you instead of the best version of themselves, and it doesn't work. You end up with a big front line and no down line.
If you make yourself the issue, your business will never be bigger than you. I hope you guys are writing that down because that is golden. Now, we brought it this far, Lisa. There's two directions I want to go with this conversation. First of all, I think it's important that since we talk all the way to the point of bringing an expert on the phone, we talk about the importance of edification, because when you bring on Curtis, you don't just say, hey, Mr. Prospect, this is Curtis. Curtis, meet Mr. Prospect, because the reality is Mr. Prospect doesn't even know Curtis. And so there's really no validation, credibility that Curtis has. So
I obviously, and here's something interesting. I edify them. I tell them all Curtis's accomplishments. But here's what's funny. People that I know, they love me. They trust a stranger edified by me more than they would trust me anyway. It's really kind of interesting. You know, but yes, you always want to edify the person you're putting on the phone. You always want to speak schmaltzy, hype, you're fake. So you just want to be honest and honest and transparent. And just tell people I'm putting you on the phone with somebody whose time is very valuable. They're what I want to be. They're my leader. I'm in this team because of this person, because they represent where I want to go. And then you shut up. You shut up and you listen, and three things happen. You're showing a level of respect. You're not interfering with the rhythm and cadence of the person that's speaking. And in listening to their conversation, that's how you get great.
Yeah, the second, and thank you for that. I wanted to make sure that everybody heard that, because, your expert is going to only turn around and re-edify you and tell your prospect why it's important that they should join your business. But they have to be in that position of credibility and posture, and that's so important in what we do. I want to go in a different direction, Lisa. I know that your time is short, and so I want to just, there's some confusion that we get at times where people say, okay, what am I supposed to be doing? Am I supposed to be putting them in front of the Rise of the Entrepreneur? Or am I supposed to be moving 6-pack of energy drinks with the hot market system? I'm totally confused. And they just get so caught up in trying to do it all at once. They think that these steps of moving hot market moving product and getting them a link and then getting them on an expert, they have to do it all at one time. And so can you help people just understand the progression and the flow and the steps and how they play together, especially that?
I'm going to actually call on people to really think. And I'm saying that on purpose, tongue in cheek. And let me tell you why. Everybody thinks that success is what to do. Travis, I'm willing to bet, Rob, I think you're here because you haven't chimed in, but I see your picture, so I want to refer to you because he's another expert, and I love to collaborate with him. But he could be, and I'm guessing he's probably on a three-way call behind us, which is why we haven't heard from him.
Yes.
So I want to be respectful of that. But all the calls, I don't want to say all the calls, but 89% of the calls that I get are, how do I do this, and how do I do this, and how do I do this, and how do I do that? And I know Travis's are as well. And I've talked to so many successful people you can't begin to imagine, and I know that Travis has as well. And not just in network marketing, I would say in many entrepreneurial things, although network marketing is my first love, and they used to get the same calls. And everybody thinks it's all in how to do. That's where success lies. And folks, how to do something is relatively simple. There's a blueprint on how to do anything. I say it all the time. If you want to learn how to bake a cake, what are you going to do? You're going to go get Julia Child's cookbook, and there's how to bake a cake, and you follow the recipe, you're going to get a cake. We're giving you the recipe, but don't get so caught up in how to do that you don't think. It's not that difficult. It doesn't really matter if you are, we teach you how to move your product, because sometimes people get in the business and they get so excited to go start talking to everybody they know that they don't realize that they haven't moved any product at all. They have no story. They haven't made any money. And those are the first questions people are going to ask. And it's always nice to break even and have some consumers using your product and have your family, close family involved in your support system. And the easiest way to accomplish all of that is to have them trying your product, buying it from you because they will, using it out of your hair, etc. But if you're on the phone with somebody, and that's to inoculate people and protect them from family and friends laughing at them. But if I'm talking to my mom and she says, yeah, honey, of course I'll buy your product and I'll try your product, but what exactly are you doing? There's nothing wrong with, once I've done that, saying, Mom, go watch this movie. It'll give you an idea of the industry I'm in, and getting off the phone. That's common sense. But am I going to have her do that before I've talked to her about the product? No. Because in mom's case, she's going to be more inclined to be less judgmental if she's got something tangible in her hand that's a product that actually works and does something, because she's so close to me. Once I've done that and I've got my product out, if I want to go be the world's greatest product movement person, I can buy more product and do it again. I can buy more product and do it again. But most people are interested in getting to the building the big team and moving some product first. Starting with some product and moving some product and getting your money back gets you the best, the most people, the best chance of having success. And we always teach the most people best chance, because it's not about what works, it's about what duplicates. But what should I do first? If you're working that hot market system, you should be done with that in 3 hours. By day 2, you should be, by day 2 or by that evening, you should be on the call. So if you don't know which to do first, it's because you're trying to avoid doing that to get right to this. Just get it done. How hard is it to call 10, 12 people and ask them to buy a 6-pack of whatever it is and to move them to your family? It's not. It's not a big deal. Just get it done. Don't make it a big point of conversation, because it isn't. It's not what the business is about. It's getting a piece of it done. The business isn't about recruiting. It's about putting together a team of people. How do we get the team of people? We recruit. People think that we're always recruiting. We're not. We're looking for those that are looking for us, and there's a recruiting phase of the business. And if you work it all the way through and you work things in a circle to their conclusion, eventually you'll be at a point where you're only doing 20% of your time personally recruiting, because you don't have time to do anything else, because you're working with your team, helping them, and you're doing the same thing in depth. But if you're never finishing things through, they're finishing the piece and checking it off the list, and then moving into the teacher mode and the assist mode and the depth mode, teach to teach to teach to teach to teach to teach to teach, then it seems like you're always doing the same thing over and over and over and over again, because that's what we do. Those who don't learn from history are condemned to repeat history. So I don't really see where the confusion comes from. The confusion, people usually get confused when they are, rather than doing and rather than thinking about what they're doing, they're thinking about how to not do what they should be doing.
I love it. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Lisa Grossman, and for those of you that are tuning in, if you have a question for us, I do have the Q&A enabled, and I think that we've maybe got just a couple of more minutes here, so you feel free to...
I'm going to open it so I can see.
Yeah, so we do have a Q&A on. If anybody would like to type in a question for Lisa, we'll take a couple of questions here. So Lisa, the truth is that there's not anyone that's on this presentation right now, whether they do full-time or part-time, that in a matter of 24 hours couldn't move all their product and then start reaching out to people with the intent to get them in front of Rise of the Entrepreneur, following up with those people that are on the product a week later and doing the same thing, and ultimately getting their 4 and going square within the first month. There's not one person that's on this presentation that, if they really committed to it and followed the system, couldn't come up with their 4 people and go square in the next 4 weeks. Would you agree?
I think that everybody can, yes.
Mm-hmm.
See, it's a numbers game. It's just, people are not numbers, but it is a numbers game. Here's the problem. If people don't, it's because they're emotionally attached to the outcome. People always tell me, how many people do you have to call? I'm like, I don't know how many people I have to call. I know how many people I can work with on a team that are as committed as I am. But I don't know how many people I need to talk to find those people. I don't care. You know, it's always a function of what question you're asking. You know, if you know that you need 9 people to field a baseball team, and what do you have total on a team? 27, right?
Mm-hmm.
But 9 starters, and it's 27 is a total. Is
Sounds
that right? Or 5 pitchers, whatever it is. You can have 9. You can have 9 on the field, and you can have so many in a total of 27. I think. Well, you want the best 27 that you're allowed to have. So how many do you have? Can you have at tryouts? I don't know. How many do you have to see to get the best 5 pitchers that you can get? I don't know. What you know is you're going to hire the best 5 pitchers you can get. And then you're going to work with those, and you're going to work with the best team that you can put together. And once you get that team, that's going to take up all of your time. And the only time that you're really going to go be personally looking to develop a new player, rather than working in depth in the team, is if you're somebody, one pitcher breaks an arm or something. So I think people get focused, wait to see what this person will do. Don't wait. There's 3 kinds of people, Travis. I think I'm going to sum it up this way. There are 3 types of people in your business and 3 types of people out of your business, but they're really the same people, same groups. When you're out there, there are people that are just negative and closed-minded, not to be confused with people that want more information or don't have all the facts or don't have what they need to make a decision. There are people that are negative and closed-minded and just don't belong with you. And there's nothing that you can say or do, no person that can get on the phone. You can't say the right thing to the wrong person. There's nothing anybody can do. So you just let them go. And then there's a group of people you're going to encounter that are waiting. They're waiting maybe to see what you do. They're waiting to see what someone else does. They're waiting for summer vacation. They're waiting for the kids to go back to school. They're waiting till someone graduates from college. They're waiting till they get their income tax return. They're waiting for something. And that's okay. You follow up with them. You keep them on a drip list. And then there are those that are ready to go right now. And that's really the only group that you can focus on or work with and try to help move to the next step and the next step and the next step until they're at a point where they're in your business in some form or fashion, where they make a decision. And the only decision they can make is, no, or yes, I'll be a customer, or yes, I'll be, in the business, or whatever. Now, in the business, there's a group of people that no matter what you do, no matter what the company does, no matter what happens, they're going to quit. And that's okay. Let them go. Then there's another group of people that was waiting. Maybe the company went into back order for 2 days, 3 months ago, and they have to wait and make sure the company never goes into back order again so that they can feel comfortable, because when they build that big group that they're mythically going to build one day, that company can't go into back order and ruin it for them. Or maybe they're waiting until they have more time, or maybe they're waiting to see what somebody else is going to do, or maybe they're waiting till things calm down at work, or maybe they're waiting to see when the new product comes out or what's going to happen, and that's okay. They're waiting. Their business, their right, their prerogative. You treat them with respect. You keep them on a list. You let them know when the events are, where the conference calls are. You work with them in group. You encourage them. You're nice. You don't push. Then there's a group that's ready to go right now. And that's who you work with individually. Everything else is in group. And all you really want to do as you talk to people and work with people is figure out where they're at. And you're working and working and working till you have enough people that are ready to go right now. And when that is keeping you so busy that that's all you have time to do, that's all you're doing. And the question, and that group is going to be busy doing pretty much whatever they saw you busy doing. So if you want a group that does not really move all of their product, which means it's going to be a lot of people that probably didn't get, and has a lot of product in the house that didn't get their money back, which means they don't have a lot of their family members using the product, which means they probably don't have a lot of consumers outside the business, then be that person. And if you want a lot of people that do not, that don't really utilize the team, don't really utilize the tool, you want people that become the tool themselves, the phone is ringing off the hook and the business can't go forward if you take, take 5 minutes off and you're tearing the hair out of your head because you're maybe making money, but the freedom that we talked about isn't coming for you, then be that person. Because duplication is a funny thing. The good stuff duplicates at about, 80%. We don't know why. The stuff that makes you crazy at about 180%. We really don't know why. It just is.
Well, we are extremely grateful, Lisa, to have you as a mentor and an advisor to our team. Everybody needs a mentor, and Lisa and Curtis.
We didn't get any questions.
I know we didn't get any questions. I'm feeling a little bit lonely out there, but we are getting a lot of feedback on the legacy page right now. For example, Deborah White just said that she can't write fast enough and take notes. This is an incredible hangout. So we're getting a lot of really good feedback. If there are any questions, feel free to type them in very quickly because we're going to wrap up here. But Lisa, I just want you to know how much we're grateful for you. I want everybody to understand that no matter where you are in this business, everybody needs a mentor, and Lisa and Curtis serve as mentors to Summer and I, and advisors to this team, and we're extremely grateful to have you, Lisa. I know that you're over in Hong Kong, you've got a lot going on, and we just want you to know how blessed we are to
My pleasure.
We love you. So with that, if we don't have any questions, which I'm really surprised, we couldn't have done that good of a job. Maybe we did tonight, Lisa.
Well, I hope so.
If we don't have any questions, then I am going to say thank you very much for tuning in. And
My pleasure.
This is one of those trainings that I think everybody needs to watch, so we're going to make sure that the rest of the team gets in front of them. And with that, we will see you next week. Thank you for all you do for us.
Oh, my pleasure, and thanks for having me on. Love you guys. Let me know if I can help with anything.
All right, you take care. Bye-bye now.
Bye.